on the resilience lab, and I that was so refreshing to hear that the parish has stepped up and is working on that facility that was detailed in that report 2 years ago. There's movement, there's money, it's coming. But we also, as a board, we looked at what we'd like to also support, because we know, our leaders are the leaders, they're ultimately the responsible parties, but we would like to support just focusing on downtown Morgan City and downtown Berwick, and see if we can't just energize a little bit more of the business development. And we recognize that Evan Boudreau is stepping into the role, so we're going to network with him very heavily and really make that also a priority area. And we also want to revisit and repackage something that we started earlier, which was the Restaurant on the Lake initiative. So that's, as a board of St. Mary XL, that is our priorities moving forward. But right now, as we kind of come to the end of our agenda, we're going to look at announcements. And we would really like to hear from our Port local interest group member, Cindy Cutrera, and if Carrie Stansbury have any announcements or anything they'd like to share, or even Miss Donna Meyer, if she's on the phone. They're our local interest group partners, and we'd like to sometimes share announcements at the end of our meeting. So if you could unmute them, and we'd maybe go to Cindy first. Cindy, are you on the Zoom call with us?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was waiting to be unmuted.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks. I just wanted to very quickly tell everyone that we were notified earlier this week that we have been awarded an additional $18,562,000 in discretionary funding from the Corps of Engineers budget, also known as the fiscal year 21 work plan. We had received 4.4 million already from the president's budget. So that's going to bring a total for fiscal year 21 to $22,992,000. We're very excited about that because of all the high water we've had. We certainly need that money for dredging. We want to always thank our congressional delegation for their support. And also, I want to clarify one thing, because we always say that we were awarded money. And so some people think that that money comes direct to us. We don't get it. If there's an authorized federal project, that money goes to our account towards our dredging, but that money goes to the Corps of Engineers. It never comes to our local bank account. So we still get that question. So I just wanted to clarify that. And that's all I have.
Well, that's significant news, Cindy, and that didn't take a long time, but that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of relief that's going to be offered, and it's going to drive the economy. And without the economy, everything else, the quality of life can't be improved. So thank you for that announcement, and we applaud what you and Mac do to secure those funds and to lobby on behalf of the community. Thank you, Cindy. I'm going to see if Carrie Stansbury has anything that she would like to share for our tourist and Cajun Coast director.
I don't have an option to unmute Carrie. I'm not sure. I know she's saying she's on the phone, but I'm not.
Well, we might offer her what we did previously. Carrie, if you would go ahead and maybe call Catherine, and then Catherine, if you would just let her speak to you, please, if you wouldn't mind. And as that's taking place, I'm going to just kind of make some little comments and thank yous so that we can maybe end this meeting in another 5 to 7 minutes. We're committed to continuing to do our work. We're going to continue to collaborate across these political entities and terms of office. We're also, you may be wondering, are we going to do this again? Like, are we going to do this again? We're going to hold public forums like this as needed. We usually have our local interest group meetings, but we got to get the work done so that we have something to report. We'll come back to report when we have something to report. But right now we got to get to work. There's a lot of work to be done. So we will continue to meet, hopefully in person very soon. And when we report out, we will make it a public meeting. So we will have another public forum as needed.
Miss Monica, I'd like to say something really quick. Kelly and I have been had the opportunity to go around our parish lately and speak to everyone. And I think Kelly would say the same thing, that it's been so refreshing and uplifting to see the enthusiasm and how well everyone works together. And just, I don't want to say easily convinced, but at the same time, just willing to work with us and be a part of our movement to make the area better. It's been
Thank
great.
you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have Carrie on the line. You
go.
want to unmute Miss Catherine?
She is.
Okay.
Hi,
Can y'all?
Carrie.
All right, Carrie.
Yes.
Can y'all
All
hear?
right.
Mhm.
We have been working on our Unity in the Community bicycle ride. We started that to promote our trails, to get people out there. And we've done really well. We've hit Morgan City, we've hit Berwick, we've hit Paterson, and we had one scheduled in Franklin that got postponed. For the Mardi Gras season, we are we're getting ready to release what's called a scavenger hunt. It's going to be online. It's going to be a Mardi Gras scavenger hunt. It's going to be from February 4th through February 16th. It's an online app called Goose Chase. It's going to be close to over 50 missions, and it'll be things like I'm not going to tell you all the missions, but some will take a couple hours, some will take minutes. But think about everything about Mardi Gras that you love: king cakes and umbrellas and beads, and this is going to be family. If you choose to have cocktails, don't tell me about it. But anyway, we're going to be releasing that. We're working on narrowing those missions down. It's something that you can do and be socially distant and be with your pod or your bubble that you hang out with. In May 2nd to the 7th, there's going to be a bike ride called Tour de Rouge, and that's going to be from Houston to New Orleans, and our own Allison Dozor is going to be riding in that, and that's from Houston to New Orleans, May 2nd to the 7th. This is about their maybe 6th or 7th year that they've come through. Of course, 20 was canceled, but in the first few years it was the American Red Cross, and now it's the ARC. So if anybody's interested, you can look that up, or you can support Miss Dozar, who's going to be riding. In April, we're hoping to, we had to cancel Eagle Expo because of the pandemic and the cost associated with it, and the group of people that normally attend. It just wasn't going to work. However, we are investigating what's called a Big Sit. It's a one-day birding event from sunup to sundown. We've gotten permission from Scott Green to use his property, and his property actually faces the Gulf of Mexico, and during the migration, it's going to probably be pretty spectacular for birders to sit out there. So that's something that we're working on confirming, but it will be in April. We're working on a restaurant campaign. We met with Beth with the Morgan City Main Street, and we also met with Ed Burden, Tiger, with the city of Franklin. And that will be in June. It'll be the whole month of June. We'll be working with a restaurant campaign. And it's something that a lot of people had asked us about. And we got some funding through the state, through the Office of Tourism. And so we will be working on that in June. As I said, we got some funding through the Lieutenant Governor's Office for marketing. And it's wonderful because our funding has been down because of COVID. We also secured during this pandemic world a fishing tournament called the Louisiana High School Bass State Tournament, and that will be April 21st. We also submitted national designation for the Bayou Tex Scenic Byway. We are patiently waiting to see if we were selected to be a national byway. We also, with St. Mary XL, we submitted some capital outlay to do a walkway behind our building. The walkway behind our building has been in the Atchafalaya Basin master plan for several years, but they say they don't have the money. So we will continue to try to secure those funds for the walkway outside of our building. We also, a nonprofit group, planted some irises behind our building. We are very dry right now, so it was the perfect timing for them to plant some iris. So that's going to probably be pretty beautiful in the spring. Also, very, very good news is I talked to the Department of Transportation. I did all the paperwork, and it looks like we're going to get larger welcome center signs on the highway. Those were just approved. So hopefully we'll get those out as soon as possible. We're going along and hoping once people start getting vaccines, we'll see more visitors to our area. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Some really, really exciting events. I'll just go to Kelly first. Kelly, were there any questions or comments that went into the chat room for Ms. Stansbury or Ms. Cutrera?
No comments or questions for them. I mean, first, so exciting to see all the forward movement, especially during these challenging times. I think that's one thing that comes out of this meeting. But we do have one comment from Courtney Long, an update, and he wants to announce the first phase of Jimmy Johnson Memorial Park under the bridge in Morgan City. His organization Hoodstocked worked closely with Mayor Grisafi and the city of Morgan City to complete the first phase of the revitalization effort with great help and support from the H&B Young Foundation. And they're excited that Mayor Dragna is on board to continue this effort and believe it will be a great asset to the community. So just another really great update that is happening in our community and to keep our forward momentum going and stay committed to it. Oh, and Colleen, we'd love a sign to show the Berwick Lighthouse location, being that it is an icon in Berwick. So a request.
A request. Excellent.
Yeah. And I'll just say, I just want to say one thing too, is, with all these updates that we have and things that are coming up, just to keep the forward momentum of Lanier, we heard that community support is one of the biggest things. So we, St. Mary Excel, will be behind it, especially Margaret and I will be out there doing some more of our own road shows to get people on board and ready and excited. We have to continue that excitement for it.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good to hear all this connectedness. Just as we work to the end of our agenda, we want to thank KBZE, KQKI, KWBJ, and the Daily Review. They've provided just wonderful media support. We'd also like to thank the Community Foundation of Acadiana St. Mary affiliate. They have just recently committed to funding an intern who comes to us from Nicholls State University. We'd like to announce Caroline Dufresne has accepted an internship that will be working with St. Mary Excel on some of these upcoming initiatives. We would like to thank Oshner St. Mary, who was prepared for us to host this meeting at the Municipal Auditorium. We want to thank the Municipal Auditorium and of course always the port for being ready to host our meetings. We thank our presenters today, and I personally want to thank our fellow board members for all the preparation, our meetings before the meetings to practice. Also, we failed to mention Miss Leslie Washington, a very important advisory board member who has agreed to serve, to assist. So once again, we want to thank everybody. And this will be rolled out in little segments again. It'll be on our timeline, from what I understand, for Facebook. So if you missed it, it will be replayed in some form or fashion. I see that we have 73 participants. That is huge. When we have our local interest group meetings, we usually run about 22 to 29. So this is already 3 times what we've done. So
Because the momentum's building here.
Say it again, Margaret.
Great momentum.
Great momentum. So with that, unless the board members have some other comments, we're going to end our meeting.
Yeah.
Thank everybody.
Thank you all for your participation.
Thank everyone.